Episode 165, Marketing Momentum with a Limited Budget. This Week in Weddings is a support group for wedding industry entrepreneurs.
We're the ones behind the scenes, planning and designing the event, arranging the flowers, creating the invitations, or taking the photographs for a couple's most important day ever. No pressure.
If you've been in the wedding industry for more than a minute, you know it's not all cake and confetti. Running a wedding business is hard, and it's certainly not for the faint of heart.
This Week in Weddings is where we catch up on this often crazy but amazing industry and share tips on how to be a better business owner, all while supporting each other along the way.
You're listening to This Week in Weddings with Kimberly Rhodes and Annie Roach. Hi guys, I'm Kimberly Rhodes, owner of Hitched Events.
And I'm Annie Roach, owner of 5x7 Designs.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Woo!
Here we are.
We're here. We're here for you.
We are. Okay, Annie, I got to tell you, I've really been enjoying our going live in our Facebook group.
That is fun. Yeah. It's kind of like recording a podcast, but you're live, so no editing.
Well, and it's like
so we're raw.
Yeah. Well, and you have to like get ready.
Yes, gotta do my hair. Which haven't been doing much of that lately. So that's always nice to dress up and look nice. But it is fun to see people's faces and also to get people's like comments in the Facebook group. And because we come up with questions, but it's always great to hear someone else's point of view and someone else's question. So we love that.
Yeah, for sure. It's been super fun. So in case you don't know, we do have a private Facebook group called This Week in Weddings Support Group. It is made up of past guests and people who are supporters of the podcast. And it's just a great place where we discuss each week's episode and then also have past guests on to do a live conversation, which is super fun.
Yeah. So you need to join to be part of the super secret exclusive Facebook group.
Well, it's not really that secret because we're telling you about it. And it's super easy to get access. All you have to do is be a supporter of the podcast. So you can go to thisweekinweddings.com/support for more information. Just a small, very small, very small monthly fee gets you access to that podcast and helps us offset some of our expenses that it costs to run the podcast.
And you can see our cute little mugs, our cute faces every week. Oh,
it's so funny. And somebody Facebook messaged me in the group and was like, it's so weird to hear your voices and see your faces at the same time. And I didn't really think about it because I know your face. Like I see your face talking all the time. Like she just was like, it's so weird. I'm like, I guess it is kind of weird because you're not used to you're just used to listening.
Yeah.
But then you also can see. So it is a different experience. I didn't really think about that.
It's interesting. You can see my funny faces I make sometimes. You don't get to see, when we're on the podcast, it's when we record, we can see each other's faces, but we don't record our faces. We just record the audio. But yeah, sometimes I'll say something, I'll be like, and I'll cringe like, oh God, why did I say that? And I make goobery faces. So you can see my goober faces.
Whenever you make faces, I'm like, oh my God, that's Bryn's face.
We do have similar facial expressions.
Yeah, for sure. Well, to the topic at hand, this week we are talking about marketing with a limited budget. And in these times of craziness, I know I, for one, have been cutting expenses and, limiting budgets for pretty much everything.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah. It's very limited, if any budgets moving forward, or just especially during this time, deciding what your budget's going to be, because it's definitely different moving forward. So it'll be interesting to talk with Kinsey about it.
So our guest, Kinsey Roberts, is not only an owner of an event venue, she's also a planner, but she's also a podcaster, as we're called.
A fellow podcaster.
Yeah, super excited. Well, a marketing strategist for wedding pros, co-owner of Vista View Events, and a certified wedding planner through the Bridal Society. When Kinsey isn't sitting down with brand-building women for She Creates Business, you can find her co-hosting the Venue podcast, attending an industry conference, or helping wedding pros build and execute their marketing efforts and content strategy. On the rare occasion she's not immersed in the world of weddings, She's likely wandering around the family ranch with her husband and 2 boys or hosting friends for a fun-filled family-style dinner.
Let's welcome to the show, Kinsey Roberts.
Kinsey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's truly a pleasure and an honor to be here. I really appreciate it.
Well,
And
we're
so
excited.
You have a good. We can tell that you are a podcaster because you have a very soothing podcast voice,
just like we do.
Unlike
you.
me.
Stop.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, that's a true compliment when another podcaster says you have a nice voice. Like, I really take that to heart.
But you have like a. I mean, you also have a face for TV, but you definitely have a voice for radio.
Oh my gosh, you're my new best friend.
Amazing. Well, before we get started into our topic, we always ask our guests to tell us their backstory and how they got into the wedding industry. And I know you have many businesses. You are a multi-passionate entrepreneur, as they like to say. But tell us your story, how you got to where you are today, Kinsey Roberts.
Yeah, I sure will. And thanks for giving me another opportunity. You guys listening, you don't know this, but Kimberly told me to tell them this story at the beginning. And I started telling them, and she's like, no, we're going to ask you online. And I said, oh,
yes.
okay. Sorry about that. Misunderstood. Well, my name is Kinsey Roberts. That is true. And I am, first and foremost, I'm a mom and a wife, and I live in Colorado on my husband's family ranch. But how I got into the wedding industry is a little bit by accident, not by accident. But it was a little bit by chance. And so, I was telling you guys, I'm not like a lot of wedding pros that I've talked to who plan their own wedding or they plan their friend's wedding or they love photography and then they got into the industry. I'm actually a marketer by trade and have been for the last 11 years. And when my husband and I were moving back to said family ranch in early 2015, when we made that decision, I was leaving my corporate marketing job in real estate. And it's a ranch. And so this is a rural area. I think that kind of goes hand in hand, and we get that. And there's not a lot of opportunity for jobs here. And so lucky for me, my sister-in-law, her name is Katie, and she's the co-owner of my wedding venue. She had kind of, danced back and forth with the idea of starting some kind of venue. Not necessarily like, let's build a wedding venue. We were not that advanced. But just like, it would be amazing if there was a venue in this area because there was definitely a need. And so as I was coming back, her and I both have, been entrepreneurs for years before that. And so I said, listen, you've wanted to start this venue. I'm coming back. I have the marketing background. Why don't we just go ahead and do it? We have the property, and the rest is history, as they say. So here we are in the industry. We started that process in late 2015. By the time we were able to have our grand opening at the venue, it was 2017. And yeah, we've just been rocking and rolling ever since.
So the venue is on your family property.
That's right.
So weddings are like in your backyard, basically.
Correct. My backyard is a little bigger than most people's.
Yeah.
But that is right. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, this week we're talking about marketing, if I can say it, marketing momentum. That is a tongue twister with a limited budget. And I know like this time that we're in, I know I personally have been cutting back on expenses in all kind of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm sure for a lot of people, marketing is one of the things that they're like, oh, do I need to be in this magazine ad kind of situation?
Yeah. Lots of budget cuts, like no guacamole at Chipotle anymore. I mean, we're keeping it lean here, guys.
Super lean.
But yeah, I mean, it is like, we were talking earlier in our intro that, I mean, a lot of people maybe even don't even have a marketing budget right now, or they've just like super cut it. So it's hard to really gauge what we need to do for marketing now.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts. I mean, I know I'm not one who has paid for advertising. I mean, my business has been referral for the last however many years. I mean, in the very early stages, like year 1 and 2, I was advertising just to get my name out. So there hasn't been a lot of hard costs for me in terms of marketing, but I know that's not the case for a lot of businesses. And now it's important to still keep your name out there. Like we would just love to, let's just like dive right in, Kinsey. We'd love to get your thoughts.
Yeah. So I agree. Right now, as we record this, we're really going through that kind of COVID-19 time, and cutting back on expenses and making our businesses extremely lean is really at the forefront of everyone's mind. But I think also the important thing to remember is that we don't have to go through an international pandemic to want to have a lean marketing budget or to need to cut back on expenses. There's a lot of times and stages and tiers in our business where that might be the case, and I feel like that's so important to say right now because we're so, and I'm raising my hand, we're so inundated with the COVID-19 situation and like, oh my gosh, it's destroying the event industry. And so now I'm not going to pay for anything. But, there's a lot of, for instance, here's a goal. If you are somebody who wants to hire someone or hire two people and you want to cut back on some expenses so that you can insert them into your business in a really logical and sustainable way, that is another time, has nothing to do with COVID-19. And that's another time
Right.
where
Yeah.
these tips about, creating a more lean outgoing expenses when it comes to marketing could be applicable to you. And so anyway, I like to make that point because
That is a good point.
it's not just COVID-19 that
Yeah.
this applies to. It's a
Well,
lot of different stages of business.
we're in I think just this time, and it can be this time in lots of different cycles. There's just such uncertainty. You might have the funds,
That's
but
right.
maybe you just don't know what's really going to happen in the future. So you're just kind of being a little bit reluctant with funds right now, even if you have them.
That's right. Exactly. And I think that is part of what helps keeps businesses sustainable, right? We all have to have that kind of pot in the background of our business that we can go to when things feel unpredictable, when you feel anxious or nervousness. And that can be any time in your business.
Yeah. I also feel like now, like with the whole COVID thing, I feel like businesses are just being smarter overall, where
Mhm.
like, if you used to just like, for me, like I would have these monthly recurring things that I just wouldn't even think about because it was just like not a big deal. But now I'm like, oh, I need to be smarter with how I'm spending my money. And I think
Mhm.
it's a good time that a lot of businesses are just doing a lot of self-evaluation about where they're spending their money and doing it in a smarter way, to be quite honest, than they maybe were before when like money was just flowing.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So when it comes to marketing and just business in general, and I did not make this up, you guys, but I think we can all agree with this, that you can spend time, money, or both. Those are your options. And the great news is you only have three options in your business, right? There's not anything else you can do. You can spend your own time, your own money, or both. And right now in this time, we are really, for a lot of us, because we are being so much more diligent with the output of our revenue and our marketing, you can spend time. And that's amazing though, right? So it's not like, oh, you're screwed now. It's an international pandemic and you can't do any marketing. But the great news is that you can, in lieu of spending money, so put that away, spend it more sustainably. And let's start talking about spending our time because we all have a little bit more of that now. Not that we're not working, not that we're not serving our clients, and not that we're not showing up the way we should be. But being more diligent in our business right now isn't just about the money that we're spending. It's also probably about the time we're spending, which is another capital expense that we forget about sometimes. So right now, what I'm encouraging everyone to do is look at their marketing and think about how they can spend their own time, or if they still have a staff, even a small staff, how can you be spending your time that will directly impact your marketing without, again, spending those cash resources.
Yeah. And I would imagine like social media being a big component of someone's overall marketing strategy anyway. And that's free in most
Yeah.
cases,
Mhm.
like if you're not paying for, Facebook ads or Instagram ads or whatever, but you're just trying to like keep your business in the forefront in social media, like that is just a time thing that costs $0.
That's right. And you can make it even more, I think social media, we look sometimes, and maybe you guys have heard this too, sometimes when we talk about social media, it's like, oh, the algorithms. I hate social media. It's not giving me any leads to my business. I don't know why we have to do it. But I think when, you're so right, Kimberly, when we talk about the whether spending time or money on social media, you can always spend free time on social media. And where the value comes in a lot of the times that is that missing component is the consistency. Consistency is the transformation on social media because everybody wants something that they can expect from your business. And consistency right now in the time period that we're going through is the most important thing. And it costs you $0. And the reason consistency is probably the most important thing throughout your entire marketing plan is because everybody feels unsure not just us as vendors, you know this, your clients feel unsure, your prospective clients feel a little unsure. Luckily, they're still planning weddings, but there's still a little hint of anxiety and anxiousness in the back of their mind. And the great news is if you can show up consistently for them on social media and any of your marketing platforms, what you're doing is mitigating any little whispers of, oh no, are they out of business? Oh, they haven't been on social media. Oh, they haven't posted in a while. Oh, I don't see anything since March 10th. Did COVID finally take them down? So that consistency piece really matters, not just from a marketing standpoint, but from a reputation standpoint. And those really work hand in hand.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more because I will tell you just like a personal story that happened recently to me with a vendor. So as a planner, it's my job to kind of keep the pulse on what's going on with other vendors. But I've had clients of mine who are like, should we be concerned about any of our vendors going out of business between now and our wedding date, whenever those dates are? And while in an ideal world, I could say like, of course not. They're all going to be around. Like, that's just not the case,
Totally.
like, yes, we should be concerned and we're going to keep looking at it and, blah, blah, blah. But I had a client recently whose wedding was actually supposed to happen a couple weekends ago. And we've obviously postponed their event. And for their actual wedding day, they wanted a small cake, like from their bakery, just like the small little, maybe like the top tier that they could actually eat on what was going to be their wedding day. Awesome.
Mhm.
So we were reaching out to the bakery and trying to make this happen. And it was frankly impossible because it was like we've left voicemail messages, we've sent emails, like no one is returning our calls, like they are nowhere to be found, like WTF. I even went into their Instagram and was like, well, they haven't posted in 2 months. So that's also not helpful. So I think, to your point, Kinsey, it's like staying active does help alleviate any of that, like what's going on.
The anxiety of.
Yeah. Short version, we ended up using a different baker than her actual wedding cake baker because that person would not literally respond. And so now I'm like, well, I don't know what's going to happen in September, but I know right now they're not responding. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. And to your point about your business being mostly referral based is unfortunately for this baker is you're not going to forget this.
Yeah.
You're never going to forget this experience of, and I'm not to assign behavior to you whatsoever, but for all, for everyone listening, when we have experiences like this, I'm not going to forget. I'm certainly, it's not that I may not ever refer them, but I'm definitely going to think twice in the future. And so there's more than just today. There's more than just this immediate situation we are all in that consistency in marketing will impact. Because like I say, you're probably not going to forget that. Not to say that you'll never refer them, but it's always going to be in the back of your mind. Ooh, remember that time they didn't answer me and I had to pick a totally new baker?
Well, and what's also interesting is like, it's not just some random company, it is like a premier,
well-known,
very well-known bakery in our market. And
and you crazy. Like you don't have to be super productive during a pandemic, I always say, but like if you're a business, at least call the person back or have an out of office saying, sorry, right now, unfortunately, we're not taking orders. And
it was like 3 weeks, I'm not kidding, of like nonstop phone calls, emails, leaving voicemail messages, like just no response whatsoever.
Oh, no. Yeah, I agree with you, Annie, that there should be, at the very least, listen, we're putting all of our focus on our current clients. Not that I agree with this, but we're putting all of our focus on our current clients. We'll try our best to get back to you. But unfortunately, communication, I don't know anything. Yeah. It's still not a cog in there. It's still not like a niche in their feather in their cap on when we talk about referring them in the future, but at least you would know, Kimberly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more, but that's really unfortunate.
Well,
but also a perfect example.
Yeah. To bring it full circle, the bakery did actually respond 2 days before the cake was needed and said, yeah, we have it. We're ready. And they can pick it up on Saturday. And I was like, I've already gone in a different direction because I could not get in touch with you for 3 weeks.
No.
So yeah. Anyway, I kind of derailed this talking about social media, but because I went to their Instagram as one of the like, what's going on? Are they around? And maybe the phone just isn't working. But I think I probably derailed this by going in a social media direction. But Kinsey, tell us kind of other marketing tactics that people can use without having to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing that I like to suggest that people do is to do an audit of your current marketing. And the reason I want you to do this is because I want you to find where the most paying clients are converting from for your business. The reason this is important is because typically when you have a limited marketing budget, it's either when people say limited marketing budget, they mean two things. They mean truly limited, as in, $100 a month, $200 a month. Limited is relative to your business and how much revenue you're bringing in currently, or they actually mean zero. And a lot of times what I find is they mean zero because they haven't sat down to allocate a budget in their marketing plan and in their business for that quarter, for that year. Very few businesses in the wedding industry I find are doing this. They say, okay, this is our marketing budget. This is how we're going to allocate it. And that's okay. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything today because I'm going to give you tips on how to work that out. But when we talk about a limited marketing budget and we talk about spending time as capital, I want you to focus on the one place that is bringing you the most paying clients because we are trying to convert business, right? So yes, social media is important and let's not negate that. But if you drive zero referrals from social media, then what I want you to do is stay consistent on there, get yourself a scheduler and put 30 days of content on Planoly. But if you're bringing all of your revenue from referrals, then that's the pipeline that we're going to focus on. So the first thing is you have to dig in, do some data, mine your analytics a little bit and figure out where most of your paying clients come from. Most of my paying clients do come from social media. Our clients come from equal parts Instagram, Facebook, some of our paid directories, and then referrals. And so for me, I would have 4 areas that I would choose from on how to spend my time. But for you, hopefully, or maybe it's just 1 or 2 places. That doesn't mean that you don't have more than 1 or 2 places, but let's set those aside right now because I want you to be able to focus in for the next 45 to 90 days on these 1 or 2 solid places that are bringing you clients. And so let's have an example. If that is referrals like it is for Kimberly, here's something that you can do that is completely free. We all know that networking and staying up to date with our contacts is an amazing way to keep our referral pipeline going, but we can't do that right now. A lot of us might still be at stay-at-home orders. We are not having any in-person happening, but what we can do is serve those vendors in a really, really heartfelt and servant-minded way. And so I'll give you an example of something I told one of my clients to do. She's a wedding planner. And she gets a lot of her business from referrals via wedding venues. And she can't network with them right now. She can't, they're still at stay-at-home orders. So she can't even just drop off a care package, which is a great idea if you have that budget. But we're talking about a limited budget, right? But what she can do is serve them with a postponement checklist from the perspective of a wedding planner. So what she did is she created a postponement checklist for all of the venues in her area that she's been referred from. I think for her, it was 7 to 10 venues. And here's the key, though. We're talking about servant-minded service, right? She branded all of those checklists in the brand of the venue. She didn't say, Kinsey's Wedding Planning Company, here you go, give this to your clients, because she's trying to actually serve her network. That's still servant-minded, but a little less, right? Because it's like, here's service for you and for me. She gave it to the venue. It's in their brand. And she said, listen, I made this for you. If you want to hand it off to your, and this is weeks ago, you guys, when we all needed postponement checklists still. I made this for your venue, for your couples, feel free to send it to them. Now that is something that they can take and send directly to their clients. It's in their branding. It's exactly what they needed in the moment. And guess who they are never going to forget because she showed up for their venue. They're never going to forget her.
That's awesome. Annie, where are most of your referral sources? Like, where are you getting I would think yours is planners, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from wedding planners or event planners. That's majority of my
and now your website.
Your website? Tell me about your website. Is it new? Tell me what's going on.
It is brand spanking new, Kinsey.
I'm new to the internet, Kinsey. So yeah, so 2020. Welcome to the World Wide Web, 5x7 Designs. But yeah, honestly, I've done SEO a little bit, baby steps here, Kimberly. Just dipping my toes in the internets here. But yeah, mainly it's from wedding planners and from working referrals from them. So it's maybe I need a new source as well.
Well, I will never deny that having more than one referral pipeline is the most sustainable business, right? But still, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And so in your case, Annie, so for anybody out there who gets most of their referrals from planners and you can't network with them right now, what are they going through right now? They are in 100%
Hell.
crisis.
Hell.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
You guys are the crisis manager therapists of the world right now. Because we are dealing with events that involve people's emotions and their money. I cannot think of a worse combination to have to walk people through a crisis. And that's what planners are dealing with right now. So planners need support. They need people who are going to check in on them. And that, as we record this, it's May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I know that doesn't always seem like it goes hand in hand with the wedding industry, but I think it does, and especially in times right now. So planners need support. So I was chatting with a friend the other day who was a planner. She's recently pivoted to something else, but she was a planner for 10 years. And I just said, it's really, I'm always going to remember all of the people who just checked in to say, hey, how are things going in your neck of the woods? What's going on? How can I support you? Is there anything that I can do for you? Can I write up some emails for you? Can I, add an autoresponder for you? Especially in those times where we were really getting heavy emails. I have an amazing friend, and she just said, listen, I know that you're getting a lot of emails, not only from your wedding clients, but also from your marketing clients. Can I add an autoresponder to your Gmail for you? I wrote this for you. That was so simple. And now she's a very dear friend. We worked in marketing together, so she knows the ins and outs of my business. So I'm not telling you to go add autoresponders for people, but I think thinking through ways that people can actually use support. And, text messaging, or if you are on Voxer, or just shooting an email to ask how people are doing, that's amazing. But take it a step further and think, okay, what are they going through right now? They are going through hell. Kimberly's words, not mine, but it's true.
Kimberly, this is can I write your autoresponder? This will be it.
Yeah. Don't expect a response from me and stop emailing. No. But think, take it a step further and really work it backwards and think through, what are they going through right now and where do they actually need support? So yes, I love it when people check in on me. Just that simple act is so kind, and I'm always going to remember it. But, when I had that good friend reach out to me and just say, listen, I wrote this for you because she's an amazing copywriter. Put this on because I bet you haven't turned your autoresponder on because you think you need to reply to everybody instantly. And she was right. And so I put it on and it was amazing. But I think if we work backwards and think of the needs that people have right now, the need you can fulfill today, that's when we can talk about serving those referral pipelines, even in the midst of not being able to consistently network with them.
Yeah. I think, Kinsey, for me, that's like been one of the biggest differences, I guess, right now is like I am a networker. Like I weekly am somewhere doing something related to networking within the wedding industry, even if it's not like a formal, association or something. Like I feel like I'm just often socializing with my peers and such. I think that's for me been the biggest difference, is that missing piece of like the in-person check-in, if that makes sense, like the in-person networking situations that now don't exist.
That makes total sense. And you're definitely not alone in that. I feel as if, and for you, Kimberly, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's networking, but it's also, I want to shine a light on something that you said, is the check-in is also just to be able to sit down and drink wine with other people, with other vendors, and say, what's going on?
Right.
Like, what's going on in your world?
100%.
Tell me everything, because that's where we find the value in our relationships. And it's also, we're built as humans to have that desire to be in community. And right now that has been taken away from us. And I think that is something that's so challenging. And, I tell you what, I don't have the answer for fixing that or for, changing that. No, I know that's not what you were looking for, but I still, I still wonder, like, what if we never get back to that? I always that's just me kind of talking out loud, and that terrifies me. I don't think that's the case. I looking on the bright side, I'm really positive about it, and I'm very hopeful for the future. But, I'm with you. I love to be around people. I love to hug our vendors and our couples, and I'm just thinking, like, my goodness, what does the future look like?
Well, and I feel like the Zoom happy hour, month and a half ago was
started strong.
Yeah.
It was a nice substitute. Like, isn't this fun? And why weren't we doing this before? And now it's like, okay, I think we're all over the Zoom happy hour.
Burnout a bit.
Zoom burnout. Yes.
It's a real thing.
Couldn't agree more.
For sure. Kinsey, are there any other like free
Like time
marketing
with your time.
ideas that you can kind of toss out. I love the idea of like thinking through how you can serve other people and not
I
making
did
it
like
a
that.
selfish thing. Because I think
I
it's easy to just be like, I'm going to brand it and I'm going to put the Hitch Events logo on it. And isn't that helpful to you? But really, it's more self-serving. So I do like thinking about how you're helping someone without it being
well, I feel like
self-serving.
a butthole over here because I feel like I haven't been reaching out and helping people. That's on the to-do list this week.
Annie, that's not true. You sent me margaritas on my birthday, and that
That's
was
true.
very
Okay.
helpful.
Well,
See,
helping one
yes,
person.
this is more than one person, I'm sure. Yeah, this is not to say anything anyone is doing is not correct. These are just ideas. But yeah, so in addition to serving other people, there's a couple of things that I really encourage people to do. So going back to what I mentioned is, let's say unlike Annie, unlike Kimberly, you don't get a lot of your business from referrals. You actually get a lot of business from search, which is amazing. Good on you. I think that's great. So let's work backwards. Let's take that piece of data and say, okay, I get a lot of business from search. Lucky for you, for those of you who do get a lot of business from search, and quick sidebar here, if you are someone who's getting any business from search or you haven't put any thought into it, I don't want you to take the step that I'm going to share now unless you truly have the bandwidth to do it. But I would highly encourage you to focus on other methods to start bringing business to your business through search. Because again, it is so important to have different pipelines leading into your business when it comes to leads and prospective clients, because one day, it's not if, it is when your pipeline dries up, you need to have another one that is already funneling into your business that you can just activate really quickly. That was a quick sidebar. Okay. So let's say that you are someone listening and you're like, that's great. I don't get a lot of business from referrals, but I get a ton from search. Amazing. Let's talk about how you can actually bolster that lead pipeline. If you're getting a lot of business from search right now, the first thing that I would tell you to do is to think about getting on video. Now, if you all just cringed a little bit, I get it. I totally get it. But here's the reality of the situation. It is 2020 and video is not going anywhere. I think since 2014, people have been saying, oh, video's the next thing. And they're still saying it because it's so true. Let's just look at it from a fact-based perspective. They're saying it because it's still true and it will be. And if you are somebody who gets a lot of leads from search, the easiest, fastest, and most productive way to bolster, to give that search factor a shot in the arm is to get on video. And the best place to get on video, we all know, is Google's favorite child, YouTube. If you know that Google owns YouTube, and here's the reality, YouTube videos come up in search before that first, second, and third spot on
It's
Google.
true.
It's
Very
true.
true.
It's so true. And here's the great news, you guys. You don't have to start a YouTube channel and have a 30-minute twice weekly show every single week today. No, 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 no. You don't need to do that. Why don't you start with, 1 to 3 minute tips? It's, Kimberly's wedding tip of the week. And every single Wednesday, Hitched is coming on and giving you their best wedding tip in 3 minutes or less. And boom, you're done. Or if you are somebody who likes to talk just off the cuff like I do, why don't you hop on YouTube Live? YouTube has live video. You save it to your channel and move on with the rest of your life. Now, if that feels like, oh my gosh, I don't have a studio. I need to get this. I need to get that. You don't. All you need are two things. I'm looking at mine right now. You need a ring light and you need a cell phone. And that's it. That's all you need. Those are two things.
Shibari chairs and some ramekins. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
no.
Set up a full table setting. No, you guys don't need that.
No, it's
Set yourself.
totally true.
It's
And
so true.
especially if you like watch YouTube a lot. I just did my own lash extensions recently and was watching a
Oh,
lot of
you're
YouTube
crushing it.
videos. Oh, when you have time on your hands. Um, it's funny because like nobody really cares. Like I feel like
Nobody cares.
YouTube is like a place
Yeah.
nobody cares. Like there's all of these people who have like millions of followers who are sitting on the floor of their bedroom.
Yeah.
Like,
With their
and
Correct.
it's
dirty
clearly you're
underwear
sitting.
background. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no one cares.
No one cares. And I'm sure if you're doing it in a business sense, you want to be a little bit more professional
Yeah.
than that.
Maybe no dirty underwear.
Right. But like trying to wait until you have like the perfect setup is just not what you need to do. I do have a YouTube channel, but I am not consistent on it. So that needs to be on my list of consistency things.
Yeah,
Add it to the
it's
list,
add it to the
Kinsey.
yeah, me too. Like, let's just all add it to the list. And again, if you're not doing any video, if it makes you want to throw up just to be on a 15-second Instagram story, this may not be the thing you go to right now. But for those of you who truly get most of your business from search, you are missing a huge opportunity. And like I said, you do not have to plan a 1 hour weekly reality TV show. Let's keep it real. Let's think through how your clients are finding you, what kinds of questions they're asking, and what can you get on YouTube, what can you provide on YouTube that's actually going to serve those clients. And so to both of your guys' points is, if your client is, let's say, high end luxury client, maybe they're extremely busy, they work in PR, doesn't mean they're not watching YouTube. I'll tell you that right now. Everybody is. But if they're extremely busy, let's say they work in PR, they only have a few minutes, then that 1 to 3 minute tip to help them save time when it comes to communicating with their professional wedding planner, maybe that's what it is. Or if your client is more of a DIY couple, they have all professional planners, but they have control issues and they like to keep everything close to the vest. And then they're going to hand it off to those people on the day of. Maybe we talk about how they can save themselves time during that DIY planning process and then what they need to put into place to hand everything over to their professional vendors. Again, 1 to 3 minutes max. Don't drone on and on and on. And here's a great tip about your video. And I don't care if this is on YouTube, if it's on Facebook Live, Insta Stories, IGTV, but I was a journalism student. And so we always say if it bleeds, it leads. And the reality is you need to put the hook at the beginning. So don't say, hi, my name is Kinsey from She Creates Business and Vista View Events. I've been in the wedding industry for nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you. I do, but they don't. We do, but they don't. They don't care. They don't care where you're coming from. Save it for the middle. Tell them a little bit about your experience and then get straight to the meat of the situation. And here's the great news about that is when you are going to repurpose your video, which we can talk about in a second, then the people who are on the replay or wherever you are repurposing it at don't have to sit through your 5-minute introduction of yourself and think, oh, wait, am I on the wrong video? Is this not, 10 tips for hiring a professional wedding planner? This mostly just seems to be about Kinsey. So you have more opportunity than when you take that video, especially if it's a live. When you download and record that video and you want to post it on YouTube, you do put it on IGTV. You really have more opportunity to catch your audience. So put your hook, put the goods at the beginning. Don't wait until the end. I think that's a little bit of a misinformation in the marketing industry is like, oh, wait till the end so they have to stay the whole time, right? We always talk about that, especially in webinars. Stop doing that.
It's so funny that you say that because my pet peeve watching YouTube videos is when the first 5 minutes are the person telling me over and over again what they're going to teach me.
Preach.
It's I'm going to tell you, I'm using lash extensions as, a very recent example. In today's video, I'm going to show you the best way to do them. And so today I'm going to make sure to tell you, and they keep telling me over and over and over again.
It's like a recipe,
Yes.
if you ever Google a recipe and it's of course they're putting all the wording in there for their SEO and their blogging, whatever. But it's oh my gosh, I just want to know what to preheat the oven to. I don't need pages and pages of why you're making these muffins and how they've helped your community.
Thank you. I am so glad you made these for your sister-in-law's baby shower brunch and that everybody liked these. But please, could you just tell me what ingredients I need?
of my uncle's friends, cousins, kids, and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Nope. What do we preheat the oven to?
Exactly.
What ingredients do I need?
Well, SEO, that's a really good point to bring up because that is just getting up in their rankings is always a good way to increase your referral source. And we do have an episode coming up soon about SEO. We did one years ago. It's so funny, Annie, because it doesn't seem like it's been that long. Every time we talk about an episode, I'm it doesn't seem like that was long ago. Oh, that was in 2017. So we do have another SEO episode coming up.
Which in social marketing years is 102 years, so social media years,
Yeah.
It's true. I was listening to a podcast the other day. It's called Social Pros, and Jay Bear is somebody that I follow and very much admire in marketing. And he said that if your marketing plan is more than 8 months old, you do not have a marketing strategy.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I've really just lashed onto that. And I was like, okay, I hear you, Jay. I hear you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah. That makes me feel like a dinosaur. Yeah.
Me too. I was like, okay, what was what I do? Is mine more than 8 months old? I don't know. And then I had to like go back and count. I was like,
So, Kinsey, on that note, like how often do you suggest people kind of analyze what they're doing in terms of marketing?
yeah. So as far as analyzing and mining your data, I recommend that you do that at least quarterly. That's just 4 times a year, not a big deal. And the reason I recommend it quarterly is because you have to have enough numbers and enough data to work with. So I don't recommend, I don't want to say that quote from Jay Bear to scare anybody. It's not like, oh my gosh, I planned mine last spring. Not a big deal. Start now, start today, but you got to mine it quarterly for one, because it's true. Things are constantly changing. As we record this, less than 1 quarter ago, we were not in COVID-19.
Yeah.
Just for a time perspective. And so it's important that we analyze things quarterly, but also it's important that you don't really do it more than that. I'm not telling you not to check on your stats, but you're kind of just going to be beating your head against the wall because you're not going to have enough data to work with. So, every quarter is good. It doesn't mean you change your whole marketing strategy because that's not really staying consistent in one thing. It means just see what's working, see what's not working, and how do you need to adapt. And so, for instance, right now, like I said, COVID-19 1 quarter ago was not a real thing. So if 1 quarter ago you were getting a lot of interaction and engagement on Insta stories, and your numbers looked really good there, it doesn't mean change it now because the whole quarter has changed. What it might actually mean for you is, do you need to be doing it a little bit more? Do you need to be getting on Insta stories and educating to your ideal client, educating to your current clients, depending on who follows you there? When you take that step of figuring out where your paying clients are coming from, understand what those paying clients are on each platform. I'll give you an example in my own business. I mentioned that we get a lot of business on Instagram and from Facebook, but the reality is those are two very different clients. And so I serve those platforms differently. Instagram is our current clients, their friends, and prospective clients, the actual couple. And so I serve from that perspective on Instagram, whereas Facebook is actually an older crowd. It's parents. It's the
Yeah.
parents of couples. It is our local community who loves us, who supports us, who props us up, who refers us. And so I serve that content up in a different way. I show them a lot of photos of our ranch, and keep them a little bit up to date on what we're adding to the venue, because they like to see us grow, because they're supportive of us as people. And they're supportive of us as a business. That's not to say that couples have not found us on Facebook, but it's really important to show that perspective to the biggest audience. And so more of a percentage of old, like parents, our local community that are our parents' age, are on Facebook supporting us. So that's how I serve content there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hey, Kinsey, out of curiosity, if someone is cutting their marketing budget or like having to reduce their marketing budget, is there something in particular that you would say, like, no matter what, don't cut this?
Yeah, like for a paid marketing.
So this is a hard question because it depends on how it's working for you.
Sure.
And whether or not you can afford it, how it's driving business to, especially, is it helping you book business in 2021 and beyond? So helping you have getting those new deposits in, helping you stay sustainable. But what I would say is, don't cut anything out completely until you work out the numbers. And so what a knee-jerk reaction is when we are in a time of crisis, when it does feel like we need to cut back, a knee-jerk reaction is to say, stop all the money, stop all the outflow, because we need to save money. We're going to fire people and let people go, and I'm not going to spend anything, and then just ride the wave and hopefully, cross fingers, I'm still in business after this. So without running numbers, you are just making decisions based on zero data. That's called an emotional decision, and marketing is math. And so if you are not going to do the math, you're not going to understand what to cut and what not to cut. And so I'll give you an example. If you have 5 Facebook ads running to 5 different target audiences right now, what you could do is look at which ones are performing the best for the lowest cost per click, and then cut the other ones. And so maybe 2 of those are performing extremely well. They have the lowest conversion rate, and they are booking you new business in 2021, which equals, right, new deposits, new revenue sources. And so cut those other 3, pause those for a little while. If you have anything like on Instagram, if you have just because I run ads year round just to keep my ad account seasoned. It doesn't mean that I'm spending $500 a month always on ads. It means that I just run a super low key ad just to keep it seasoned, and so that Facebook sees, she's spending money with us, right? Because that's helpful for everybody. I turn those off right now, but I'm still running those actually. So I turned those seasoning ads off, but I'm still running kind of a big ad, but just to Colorado. So we do attract couples from out of state. I'm not running those right now because more of a percentage of people book within our own state. And so I turned off those out of state ads because they were revenue producing, but they're not our main source of revenue. And so I'm running just that Colorado based ad right now. So again, marketing is math. So do the math first and then decide what to cut. If you are just bleeding money right now and your company truly cannot handle it, and you are in a position where you're like, yes, we actually need to turn off everything, go ahead and do that. That's okay. I understand. We're all in precarious situations at one time or another through this situation or any situation. So turn them all off and then go back, mine all of your data, and then turn them on, whatever those marketing channels are as needed. So that way you kind of like stop the flow. You feel that instant relief, but then you can start turning things on as you have time to go back and figure out what's performing well for you and actually what's bringing you business. Because again, I don't like this saying because I don't think it shows the full picture, but it's not untrue that you do have to spend money to make money, or you have to spend something to make money, whether it's your time, like in Kimberly's case, referrals are her biggest source of income. So she spends her time networking. She spends her time being an incredible planner. And so you have to spend something to make money. So you can't just sit in your house with a blanket over your head, turning off all of your time, money, et cetera, spent, and think that you're going to continue to book business.
Yeah. Kinsey, it sounds like with all of this, it's really about analyzing the results, like making decisions. But like, I love what you're saying, marketing is math. But it's like you have to know what the results you're getting from things you've already been doing in order to make decisions about them.
You do. And it's so true, especially right now. And the reason I just keep hitting this point over and over again is because in a world of uncertainty right now and anxiousness and anxiety, the one thing that is true for you is math. And listen, I don't like math. I'm a creative person. Obviously, I'm a podcaster. I like to speak. I like to write. I like to share and communicate in different ways. But the one thing that is true for us is math right now. And so instead of saying, well, where do we think clients are going to be? Or what do we think is going to happen? How do you think weddings are going to look? Yes, have all of those conversations. Definitely do that. But not when it comes to your marketing today so that you can continue to book business. Don't hear what I'm not saying. If you need to develop new packages, if you need to adapt your business a little bit, if you've been wanting to launch an additional stream of revenue that you think is perfect for this time, don't hear what I'm not saying. Go ahead and do that. But as far as your marketing is concerned today, to keep your business sustained, to keep yourself booking clients, go back to what you have been doing and figure out what the data is, because that will give you a semblance of control, right? Which is all we need, which is something we all need right now in a world that feels out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All great advice, Kinsey Roberts. Is there anything else that we missed in this conversation? I mean, this is a lot of good information for sure, and a lot for people to think about.
Thank you. Yeah, just one other thing that I want to mention. I feel like we talked a lot about mining your data and math, and I feel like we hit video a lot, which maybe makes people feel a little cringy. But one of the things that I'll tell you guys, listen, if you're not on video, I think what I like to say is just focus on one strong content platform. This goes back to what I said, it kind of wrap it all in a nice bow. It goes back to what I said at the beginning, where if we find that one place that clients are coming from, then you can hit those clients over and over again consistently, and make sure that the way you're hitting those clients is through one really strong content platform. So if you want to get on video, great video. If you like speaking and communicating, maybe it's a podcast like we're on right now. If you like writing, maybe it's a blog. I know Andy just got her website, so maybe we need to start adding some content to it. Maybe it's blogging. Maybe it is microblogging on Instagram. We could, I'll tell you just a quick sidebar, be careful there, because that's like building your house on rented land, but it doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do today.
Okay, I don't know what microblogging is. What does that mean?
It just is a fancy way of saying, you guys, bring your blog post over to Instagram. It doesn't have to be the full blog post, but encouragement to all of you, regardless of this, is stop asking people to go away from your social media platforms. The social site does not like that. And guess what? Neither does the person looking at your business. If they want to hire you, I got news for you. They're going to find you. They know how to use the internet. Okay. So stop asking people to say, click this, link in bio, swipe up, go here. Oh, here's 3 sentences of my information. But now you got to come over to this new place to find the rest. Feed the beast. That's all you need to remember. Feed the beast, give them what they want on the platform that they are on, and you will be rewarded not only by the social platform, but also by the client, because they will feel well served by you. They are not like, oh, Kinsey just gave me these 3 sentences of amazing information, but now I got to go over here. I don't have time to do that. So I'm just going to stop. Yeah. So feed the beast, bring it to the place that they are. That's important in my business because Instagram brings us clients, but it may be important to your business too. Again, don't assign behavior to your client or to your prospective client and think, oh, they'll come over here. They may not, and they probably won't. You guys, they're probably millennials, right? Depends on who your client is. But give them the information where they are at. They will find you. They know how to find your business if they want to hire you. Stop thinking that that's like, oh, I need to make it easy for them to contact me. Yes, you do. But they know how to do it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Sidebar. So find that one strong platform where your clients go to them, serve that referral pipeline, whatever it is. For Kimberly, it's referrals. For me, it's social media and search. For Annie, it might be search. It's also referrals. We'll see. And so you got to figure out what it is for you. And the great news is there is no right answer. The only right answer is your answer, which you're going to find when you mine all of your data.
Great advice.
Add it to the list.
I got to step up my game, guys, but it's okay. Now's the time.
Annie, all the wedding planners in Dallas listening are just waiting for you to write
just
their
wait,
out
guys.
of office message.
Just wait. I'm going to show up dressed like a chicken or something. I don't know. It's coming soon.
Whatever it takes.
I request a photo of that when it happens. I respectfully
I'll
request.
blog about it, guys. Don't worry.
Love it. Well, Kinsey, thank you so much for chatting with us. Tell our listeners about how they can hear more from you, a little bit about your podcast.
Thank you. Yes, so much. I appreciate it. And thank you again for having me. I can't tell you how much I had a great time, but also I just really feel honored to be here with you. You guys can find me online. I'm at She Creates Business everywhere. My venue, if you want to take a peek at it, is Vista View Events. And yeah, come on over. Publish twice a week and doing the same thing that these ladies are doing. Probably not quite as good, but you might like it. And Kinsey, I'd love to have you over.
Excellent. We will link to all of that in our show notes so people can find it, although we are taking them off of this platform to make them go to our show notes.
That's okay.
Which you just told us not to do.
That's okay. There's a time and a place, you guys. A time and a place. Show notes, you guys got to go to the blog for that. Instagram, leave them on the platform.
There you go. Kinsey, thank you. Have a great day. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys both.
And don't forget, if you've gotten value out of the podcast, including this week's episode, we would love for you to contribute to our Patreon page.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We've got several different levels that are very economical, and they just help us produce quality education and quality episodes just like this one.
Exactly. You can go to thisweekinweddings.com/support. As little as 10 cents a day helps us with our out-of-pocket expenses.
Thank you.